Love, where are you? Did you get into bed already? Darling, talk to me. Ah, there you are. Hey, did you miss me? Hmm, yeah, I just got back. It was such a long day at work, doubly so with you not there to keep me company. How are you holding up? You seem a little tired. You feel cold? Darling, you're not sick, are you? Oh dear. Come on, get under those blankets. Let's get you warm. Hey, no protesting. I can see this terrible weather has done a number on you. And as your girlfriend, I'm declaring emergency protocols right now. Time to dim the lights. Here, slide under the blankets. I'll even tuck you in. Alright. Now how about something warm to drink? Would you like some hot chocolate? Darling, you're not a burden. Taking care of you is my second favorite thing in the world. The first is getting to cuddle you, of course. Which is why I'm gonna make some hot chocolate and be right back. Don't go anywhere. Do you feel a little better? How's your throat? It'll probably take you a few days to fully recover. Stay under the blankets as much as possible, right? If you need anything, just tell me. The weekend's about to start, and I'll finally be able to take proper care of you. Don't worry. I'll be here the whole time. Now drink up. Is the hot chocolate to your liking? Good. If I'd known you weren't feeling well, I would have left work early. Next time, please just call me. I love you. Trust me, you couldn't be a bother even if you tried. What can I do to help? Please, tell me. Yeah, I can keep holding you like this until you fall asleep. But what else can I do to make my baby feel better? Come on. There has to be something more I can do for you. It's okay. Don't be shy. How long have we known each other, hmm? Really? You want me to tell you a story? Like one of those bedtime fairy tales? No, it's not weird. Not at all. You are absolutely adorable. I would love to. Here, come close. First, we need to get you all warm and cozy. Yeah, just lean into me. Just like that. I've got you, baby. Now, let's see. I don't know what this one's called or if you've heard it before, but the story goes something like this. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a young prince. He was kind and gentle, and greeted everyone he met with a smile. He was adored by servants and nobles alike, and his parents loved him dearly. But the boy was cursed with a fragile body. He was too weak to be riding horses or swinging swords or ruling over his subjects. He spent most of his day in bed, tended to by attendants. No one knew what was wrong with him. Physicians had been called from all over the world, but not one could cure his illness. Whenever he spent too long out of bed, he would feel dizzy and collapse. He suffered painful headaches, and often his lungs would feel short of breath. And it continued to get worse. Rumors began spreading, and he came to be known as the Cursed Prince. Never seen, but always talked about in hushed whispers and pitying tones. As for the prince himself, there was only one place in which he found comfort: a garden hidden in a corner of the palace grounds, with a small pond nearby. Nobody else ever came there. At night, when the entire world was asleep, he would sneak out of his bed and stroll into the garden. He liked how quiet it was. Despite his failing health, he tried to appreciate the silence, the night air, the tiny lights in the sky, all the little things that made him happy to be alive. Yes, love, the little things matter. It's easy to forget them as life can sometimes turn into such a rush. But it's alright. You and I, we'll make time for them. We'll make sure to live well, won't we? Where was I? The prince liked it in his garden, but the night always made him feel lonely. He felt something was missing from his life. He wanted to share the garden with someone. One night, as he lay in his bed, unable to sleep, he saw a shooting star. Something about it made him wonder. He got up and stumbled into the garden. He sat at the edge of the pond and began skipping stones across the water. He closed his eyes and imagined what the shooting star had looked like. A stone rippling over the moon's reflection as it reached the other end of the pond. The prince then opened his eyes and saw a girl looking at him from beyond the tree. She was the most beautiful creature he had ever seen. She seemed pale, almost ethereal. The young man who had never fallen in love before became instantly smitten. He walked over to her in a daze and introduced himself. She returned his smile and accepted his friendship. He asked her from where she had come into his garden, but she only tilted her head in confusion. She pointed her finger at the sky. The prince looked up, but all he could see was the moon. He found her in that garden again the next night, and the one after that. He never saw her during the day, but at night she would always be waiting for him by the pond. Soon their friendship blossomed into romance, and the two realized they were in love with each other. Yes, my sweet darling, just like us. I still remember the first day I met you. It was one of the most precious days of my life. You are the most precious thing in my life. Are you still cold, my love? Should I get some more blankets? No? Okay then. Here, snuggle in a little closer. You can rest your head on my chest. I know you like that. Don't be shy. I've got you. I like everything about you, and I want to keep you safe from the cold outside. From the outside world. You're my treasure. The prince and his strange new companion grew almost inseparable, but the girl told him on the very first night they had met that she wasn't normal. She was not from his world. Her tears had the power to grant life, to cure any disease. But before she could speak more on the matter to the frail prince, he stopped her. He never wanted to make her cry. She made him feel happy to be alive, and that was enough. They continued meeting in that garden, night after night, under the stars, skipping stones. But the prince knew how fleeting happiness was. His health continued to decline. It was also at that time when the neighboring country declared war on his kingdom. Soldiers began invading the land, terrorizing his people. He couldn't stay in the palace and watch his people die, so he decided to march to the battlefield with the rest of his father's army. The girl was shocked. She begged him not to go, to run away with her to some place where the two of them would be safe, far, far away from the war. And he desperately wanted to listen to his beloved. He knew he couldn't really change much by leaving. But he had to, you see. He felt it was in his duty to protect what he cherished. To protect his city. To protect his garden where he had met her. He had to. And so he went off to fight. He promised he would return to her a year later, no matter what, and she promised to wait for him in that garden. As he fought alongside his men, he missed seeing her and talking with her. It was a long and bitter war, but in the end, they prevailed. The prince, despite his poor health, fought like a true hero and led his soldiers to victory. But just before they could return home, an arrow struck him, right above the heart. Help couldn't come soon enough. He realized he was dying. The thought of not being able to keep his promise scared him, and as he lay there on the grass, slowly bleeding out, he saw a shooting star. He closed his eyes and prayed, "Please, let me see her one last time." He prayed to any divinity that might listen. Back in his garden, a year had passed. The girl who fell from the moon was still waiting. She trusted him to keep his promise. She waited in the cold all night, listening intently for the sound of his footsteps. She waited right until dawn, but her prince had still not returned. At last, she couldn't take it anymore. She entered the palace and found his bedchambers, and sure enough, he was lying in bed. Upon seeing her, he weakly clasped her hands and apologized for not being able to come to the garden. It was from that bed that he had first seen a shooting star. He was glad he got to keep his promise. "Wishes do come true," he said, as his body began to turn to mist in the morning light. The girl understood. To keep his promise, he had returned to her from beyond the grave. For one fleeting moment. But she wasn't ready to say goodbye. She desperately clung onto the fading prince and began to weep. And it was then that the boy felt the tears falling on his face. His eyes fluttered open. His body was still his own. He got up, to the girl's surprise, and embraced her. The sound of laughter, clear as wind chimes, rang throughout the palace. And that, my dearest, was the first and only time the prince ever made her cry. They got married in a fairy tale wedding and ruled over their kingdom for many, many years to come. He made sure to always keep her happy, and his illness never returned. The prince was cursed no more. The end. So, what did you think? Darling? Aww. You fell asleep. Adorable. You know, I once made a wish to a shooting star too. I asked for someone as amazing as you to call my own. And look what I found. I got more than I could ever dreamt to wish for. You're the best thing that has ever happened to me. You complete me, my love. Please get well soon, okay? I can't bear to see you in pain. I promise to nurse you back to health in no time. You'll be out in the sun before you know it. They say the prince and his princess suddenly disappeared from the kingdom one day after having passed it on to their children. They were never seen again. The garden became lost to history, and so did their actual names. But they are still in a garden somewhere on the far side of the moon, skipping stones together across the pond, and each ripple over the water is another shooting star in the sky. One that grants wishes to people like you and me. I hope to see another one soon. I don't want to ever lose you. So this time, I'll wish for us to always stay together. For more nights, such as this. my darling.